Hey guys, today I'm going to redo a video I did about 2 or 3 years ago. And that's on how three-way light switches work. You probably got them in your house. You flip one switch on one end of the hallway and you get to the other end, you can turn the light off right there. And then if somebody else comes in, you can turn it off. It'll work either way like that, which is pretty neat how they work. And before I became an electrician, I often wondered how they worked. And when I was in the electrician class, I was showing this diagram right here of actually how these switches work and what they do, and it's actually very simple. There ain't much to it at all. In the last 5 years or so, the code's changed that it requires a neutral in every box, every switch box. So it used to be you could save a lot of wire and just run power straight to the light and then branch off of it with 12-3 going to each switch, but you can't do that now. This is the way you have to wire it now. You gotta have your 12-2. I'd say 12-2. You can use 14-2 as well, as long as you use 14-3 in the middle. But 12-2 is the most common you'll see on anything. But you have 12-2 coming into your first box, which is a three-way switch here, and you get your grounds tied into your box and everything. And coming out of it, you'd have 12-3 with ground. You notice your neutral still here. This would be your three conductors plus your ground. Then coming out of the second box, which is another three-way switch, you have 12-2 going to your light, which uses about twice as much wire, but you have to do it like this to meet code now. Now on three-way light circuits like this, your two wires that connect between the two switches are called travelers. It'd be these two wires right here. And most of the time, if you're using a 12-3 or a 14-3, it's going to be red and black. That's the two most common colors you see, because the white is always your neutral, and you always have a bare ground. So now, before we look at the actual wiring here, I'm going to get my dry erase board out, and we'll take a look at this circuit a little bit more. That way you can understand how it works easier. Then we'll get back and look at how everything's actually wired here. Okay, this is pretty much a schematic of a three-way light circuit, your standard setup like you just seen. And I apologize for using all black, but this is the only pen I got there to work on dry erase. This is your ground, which is like your bare wire, and this just represents ground in your box, which that'll pass through ground in each box. And this would be your neutral that ties into your light, which will be spliced in each box because it's running through. This is your hot, and your two travelers, and your hot feeding your light. This would be 12-2 with ground, 12-3 with ground, and 12-2 with ground. Now here in a minute, after I show this, we'll talk about the names of each wire. This is what I always called them, neutral, ground, and your hot. But now they have new names, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But okay, right now, both switches are on. So your power comes in here, and goes up to the top traveler, and it comes down here to your light like this, and back to your neutral. Okay, now let's flip this switch right here. Okay, this switch is flipped here, so now your power comes in, comes down on the bottom traveler, but it stops because this switch is up on the top traveler. Now let's flip the other switch. Okay, now your power comes in, goes along the bottom traveler, and comes up to the switch and goes to your light, so your light will be on. Now you come back over here and flip this one up. Now your light will be off again. Your power's coming in on the top traveler, but it stops right here because this one's coming off the bottom traveler. So there's no circuit here. And that's really all there is to it and how these things work. And like you see, it works both ways. Any possible combination of on or off. Okay, your hot wire, which has always been called hot, is now referred to as ungrounded. And your neutral is now referred to as grounded. And ground, which is what I always call like a frame ground, which pretty much grounds the like a metal box. It'll ground the box. is now called the grounding wire. So if you run into something, somebody's referring to something as grounded or ungrounded, that way you know what they're talking about. I still refer to it as this myself. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little bit about how everything's wired here. Now if you look, this black is coming in on the black screw, and your two travelers are coming out of the gold screws here. Now, this is the most common you'll see, coming in on the bottom and going out two on the top like that. But different brands of switches will be different. So you always got to note what they say, how it's wired. And your two travelers will come back in and the same gold screws on this, then will go out on the black to your light. Listen to that rain. Now the ground here, I just did this for demonstration purposes, but it's best to pigtail kind of like this, but instead of running the wire like this, have a third one that would come out and tie to it. The same for that and that. Same for the other switch, but I just did this to keep it simple on here. Well guys, that's really about it. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment below or send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching.